Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Yachodanandana Prajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Anjaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Mr. Pad Paramahansa Bhadavijaka Ashtotar to the Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Bhadavijaka Ashtotar to the Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, oh wait, I didn't do it. That's Narayana. That's a different verse. Did I say Nashtaprayesha Bhadresha? But I should say, was it Narayana? Narayana Namaskrityam. Okay, let's do that one. Narayana Namaskrityam Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Narayan, Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering devotional service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious within the heart is destroyed almost to nil, and loving devotion to the Supreme Lord, who is glorified in transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you, everyone. Okay. On this 25th day of May 2026 in San Diego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we're still completing Canto 9, Liberation. Canto 9, Chapter 24, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, text number 61. Kalau Janishyamananam Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Supunyam Vyatanod Yashaha Kalau Janishyamananam Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha Kalau Janishyamananam Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha Kalau Janishyamananam Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha Kalau Janishyamananam Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha Kalau Janishyamananam Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha Kalau Janishyamananam Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha. Aditya. Kalau Janishyamananam Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha Kalau Janishyamananam Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha Kalau Janishyamananam Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha. Anyone online? I guess they all went to the festival. One festival.
Kalau Janishyamananam
Kalau Janishyamananam
Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam
Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam
Anugrahaya Bhaktanam
Anugrahaya Bhaktanam
Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha
Supunyam Vyatanodhyashaha. Okay. Kalau, in this age of Kali, Janishyamananam, of the conditioned souls who will take birth in the future, Dukkha Shoka Tama Nudam, to minimize their unlimited happiness and to minimize their unlimited unhappiness and lamentation, which are caused by ignorance. Anugrahaya, just to show mercy. Bhaktanam, to the devotees. Supunyam, very pious transcendental activities. Vyatanot, expanded. Yashaha, his glories or reputation. Okay. So this is still is describing some of Krishna's glories now. To show causeless mercy to the devotees who would take birth in the future in this age of Kali, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, acted in such a way that simply by remembering him, one will be freed from all the lamentation and unhappiness of material existence. In brackets. In other words, he acted so that all future devotees, by accepting the instructions of Krishna consciousness stated in the Bhagavad Gita, could be relieved from the pangs of material existence. Purport. The Lord's activities of saving the devotees and killing the demons, paratanaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam, take place side by side. Krishna actually appears for the deliverance of the sadhus or bhaktas, but by killing the demons, he shows them mercy also. For anyone killed by Krishna is liberated. Whether the Lord kills or gives protection, he is kind to both the demons and the devotees. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. So, a few verses back, we heard about how the demons in Kali Yuga, Krishna arranges for them to get strong and fight with each other, and so they annihilate each other and make it better for the devotees. But sometimes he kills them directly, as we read throughout the Krishna book, and even in other parts of the Bhagavad Gita, of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is fulfilling his promise, as he says, parachanaya sadhanam vinachaya dushkritam. By protecting the devotees and annihilating the demons, and sometimes arranging for the demons to annihilate each other, he's protecting the devotees and also reestablishing dharma. In the a few verses before that, in the 4th chapter, he describes the parampara, evam parampara praptam, evam radeshayo viduhu. What is it? What's the next point? Sakalena himahata yoga nashtak padantava. Sorry, I have to review these verses. So he's describing to Arjuna that thus this instruction that I'm giving to you, I gave it to the sun god, and it came down from him. But due to the powerful force of time, the pure parampara had been broken. And so now I'm speaking it to you. Why? As he says in the next verse, because you're my friend and my devotee, so you're worthy of receiving it. And Arjuna probably makes clear in the purport he's meant to start another parampara. So this is part of Krishna's concern constantly with, because here's all of these devotees who have lost their devotional mood and they've come into the material world, forgotten all about Krishna. And so many of them are suffering. There's also devotees in the world, and they are put upon by the demons, who are also devotees deep down, but they're very much covered over. So what to do? Well, his first concern is to protect the devotees. We saw that in spades in that wonderful pastime we had recently with the experience of Nrsingadev, and how he protected Prahlad and saved him, and at the same time delivered Hiranyakashipu. At least he got him going on his next birth. We know that he gets 3 births and then back to Vaikuntha, Jai and Vijay. But boy, was he covered. You know, he was really convinced that he was the demon and that he was in charge of the universe, and he was furious with Vishnu in the form of Varaha, who had killed his brother, his beloved brother Hiranyaksha. And so, but both of them were, you know, the plan was, what part of the plan was Krishna wanted to fight, right? That's explained, and you can't fight in Vaikuntha because everyone's a devotee. So how's it going? He has to arrange for some of those devotees to get covered over and think they're demons, so he can come down to this world and fight with them. So there's that's another aspect of the whole thing. But he's very much concerned about reestablishing Dharma. That's the third motive, right? Prajana sadhanam vinashayata dharma sangstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Because as he said, Dharma becomes confused and covered, especially in the age of Kali. So this is giving a little summary of what he does here. Now he mentions, I think, in the 10th canto we're approaching. I think it's near the end of the Krishna, the rasa dance, that anugrahaya bhaktam manasim dhanamashadha bhajate tadrishi yashudva tatparo bhaved. Again, this phrase anugrahaya bhaktanam, in order to show mercy to my devotees, to help them. I appear in my original human form and enact pastimes which then form the subject matter for them to remember me. And that's what happens here. What are we going to be reading now? We're going to be reading Krishna's appearance and his activities and all these things. And at a certain point, this wonderful devotee named HG Dravida Dasa Swami Prabhupada will translate them into a language that we can understand, as in his course of spreading Krishna's glories all over the world, and we'll be able to relish them. We'll be able to relish Krishna's pastimes. Prabhupada would so much like to read the Krishna book. He would have it read to him himself. His favorite chapter, I think, was Uddhava visits Vrindavan. He would, and the next the one after that is the song of the bee, Radharani's song "To the Bee," in separation. So this is what Krishna does. He wants to bring us back. He wants to give us back, but in order to do that, he has to come down and empower various pure devotees to spread his glories and renew the teachings through speaking the Bhagavad Gita. And don't forget the Uddhava Gita. I gave it last night, that wonderful, in the 11th canto, Krishna speaks himself to his beloved devotee Uddhava. And so much good instruction there. So the whole idea is that in the course of Krishna's pastimes, there's no cause for him doing what he's doing except his own desire. That's not true of us. We're forced to do things just to survive, to try to survive the demons or the demons' effects, like the big famine that's about to arrive here. You know about it? There's a major drought developing in the West, and it can be so severe that it probably won't cause so much famine here, but in other parts of the world, it can be very serious. The disruption of the monsoon, in India, can cause tremendous suffering. So this is what happens in the material world due to the sins of the people here, and the threefold miseries. Those adi-daivic miseries can be the most widespread and serious when there's disruption in the climate or other things, forest fires, things like that. Tsunami, they're predicting a tsunami now up north and near Seattle, off the coast there, because I think there's earthquakes going on. So this is the material world. There's always some threat, and if there's no immediate threat, eventually old age, disease, and death will get you. So Krishna is very concerned. Why would he appear? Why would he come here? And it's in one sense it's a real hassle. He can enjoy all these pastimes in the spiritual world, but first of all, some of his devotees are here, and he knows full well that those devotees can then produce other devotees, and so he comes and he speaks the Bhagavad Gita, and he arranges the whole thing in for the Mahabharata, the Kurukshetra war to take place, to thin out the density of the demons, and so forth, as described. But also to protect his devotees and enliven his devotees and give us so much subject matter for glorification. So we're going to experience that now as the 10th canto goes on. And so deliverance of the sadhus of bhaktas, but by killing the demons, he shows them mercy also. So he's helping them. And we find there's so many pastimes like that, like the Shishupal thing, Shishupal, of course, Krishna, he stole Rukmini, and so Shishupal saw him as an arch enemy forever. So when the Rajasuya sacrifice happened, after they got rid of Jarasan. So they had this wonderful sacrifice. And then there's the issue, who's going to be first worshipped, right? That's a whole big thing. And, I think it was one of the Pandavas, the twins, I forget which one, he glorified Krishna. No, Krishna should be the one that's offered worship first. He's the most glorious personality here. So Shishapal was gritting his teeth, he didn't like that. And there were other souls like that there. Duryodhana was there also. So he starts casting these insults at Krishna. Now he had a certain number, I think, in 100? Yeah. It seems like he would run out of run that up real quick. But anyway, he started doing that, and Krishna was just there, and others were leaving the assembly. They didn't want to hear it. Others was getting ready to kill Shishupal, and Krishna said, cool it out. So I guess when he got to 100, then he threw the chakra and decapitated him. So this is one amazing pastimes, wonderful pastimes that we can remember Krishna by, And you read some of the writings of the Goswamis, and they expand on them. Like Jiva Goswami's Gopal Champu. I remember reading the Madhya Lila. There's a place where he's listing all of the works of the Goswamis in a purport, And he describes his Gopal Champu as one of the most formidable books, formidable. And it takes some of the Krishna's pastimes and gives new insights to them. Like I'll give you an example because they were coming up. Well, they're always coming up on Damodar month. That'll be a few months now. But that's one of the most delightful pastimes. Every morning we sing the song Namami Shudam Satchidananda Rupam to remember the pastimes. So Jiva Goswami gives a nice little twist at the end. So what happens is that when Krishna pulls down, that's part of the pastime because she tied him to the grinding mortar, right? And so Narada Muni knew that would happen 36,000 years in the future, that Krishna would appear there. So he cursed these two, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, the sons of Kuvera, who were, playboys in heaven, basically, And so, because they had all this wealth and everything, they were playing around with the nymphs in the river, and they were all naked. And so Narada Muni comes by, and the ladies they're not so drunk as they're drinking, so they cover themselves. But Manigriva and Manigriva and Nalakuvara, sorry, getting old. Nalakuvara, Manigriva, they didn't. They were just naked. So Narada Muni said, this is not good. So he cursed them to become trees so that they could stand naked, for thousands of years. But he gave them the benediction that they would remember and that they would be grown in the backyard of Nanda Maharaj, So he knew that Krishna would appear and pull them down. So that happens. And the story, big cracking sound, and all of the elders run there as usual, and they say, oh my God, is everybody okay? There's all these boys, not just Krishna, that somehow by some miracle, nobody was hurt, right? So the way Jiva Goswami tells it, what happens there is that Nanda Maharaj comes, and he's, among the tree, the branches, he pulls them out, sees he's uninjured. And then so what happened? So the boys are all saying, well, Krishna was tied to this mortar and he pulled it through the tree. But many of them didn't believe it because, they didn't know that Krishna was God. They thought he was just a little boy. Although he had already had so many amazing interaction with the demons killing them. So Nanda Maharaj, he asked Krishna, well, who did this to you? Meaning tied you to the mortar so that the whole thing would, oh, mom did it, Mata. So, Nanda Maharaj is upset with her, and she's back home lamenting because she realizes that, they're tying him there and she endangered him and everything. She's back home. So Nanda takes her home, takes Krishna home, and then, he sees that Nanda is upset with Yashoda, so he picks up on that. And when they get there, Nanda, do you want to go see your mother? He says, no. I'm not going to go see her anymore. I'm just going to stay with you. And he takes his arm around him. Well, what about it's like, getting breast milk and everything? No more, no more. I'll just have regular cow milk. So he's boycotting Krishna. Do you remember this? I don't know if you ever read it. So Nanda Maharaj sees that Krishna has taken his own kind of irritation, if you will, with Yashoda and expanded it, and this wouldn't be good for him. So what he does is he says, "Okay, I'm going to go beat her." So he goes, and Krishna says, "No, no, no." So he runs to his mother and jumps into her lap. He says his father's going to. He took it too far. So that's a wonderful little insight, and it plays with the different rasas, and everything, and he does that, and he has these beautiful songs that he puts, Sanskrit songs. I'll give you a little sample. I didn't put him in poem, but in the pastime, where Krishna went into the forest, the famous Venugeet chapter. Where the gopis are singing the song of Krishna, he's in the forest playing that's where you find the verse glorifying Govardhan Hill as the best of devotees, Hantai Mahadi Dasya Varya. We had a devotee here who was Indian. He came and he was attracted to get initiation from Satsuru Maharaj, which he did. And he got the name of Haridas Varya Das, meaning the servant of Govardhan, who's the best servant of Krishna. But everyone, of course, it was too long, so we just call him Haridas. Or they would call him Haridas Varya. But no, it was Haridas Varya Das. He was the servant of Govardhan. Anyway, so that's in the part of the songs that you're singing, So, here's the song where he's meditating on that. And the refrain goes like this. As it goes. Rama Rama Nujahiti Yugalam Kritanata Veshati Yapatadachati Gayati Sakagana Yugalam. Can you just hear the beat? So Ramo, who's Ramo? That's Ram, Lord Balaram. Ramanuja, because that's Krishna, born after Ram, younger brother of Ram. Yugalam, these two pairs, they're going in the forest. And as they do so, Kritanata Veshati Yapa, they dressed just like the most graceful actors, dancing actors. Kritanata Vesha, Nata is an actor, dancing act. Kritanata Veshati Yapati Gayati Sakigana Yugalam, and their friends are singing their glories. This is right in the Bhagavatam. As they all go in, their friends are glorifying them, So that's the refrain line. So one of the verses, I won't give you this, beautiful verses, but the bees play a very significant role in this song. Because the bees, they're attracted to Krishna. So this verse describes how they're super attracted to Krishna and Balaram. So, Mala Mala Padimala Vallivapaladivala Sasadesham Adijankitinatakola Bahulakatu Elevation. You know Sanskrit, Ramapati, what does that mean? I'm sorry, I know too fast. So, Mala Mala. So, they're both wearing these wonderful garlands that hang down to their knees, Krishna and Balaram. Super fragrant, you see. So that's Mala Mala Padimala. Now the fragrance is emanating. So then there's this word that Kushakrata, who's translated, he didn't really know what this word means. Usually vali means wrinkle, but that doesn't make sense in this context. But vali is also a little instrument that their mothers can use to apply these fragrant oils that we have. They go over here. We have a little Q-tip. But they have this instrument. So they got all these varieties of fragrances that have been applied, different parts of the body. And they got their natural, wonderful fragrance, plus the wonderful garland. So the fragrance is like this big aura of beautiful fragrances as they walk. So naturally the bees, so the word for bee is ali. Vali Vali Vapar Ali Vali Desha. Wherever the desha was, wherever they were, there was this big swarm of bees. And what were they doing? Were they bothering them? No. They were singing songs. Adi Jankuti Kola Bahulakatu elevation. So Adi Jankuti means that they're nuti means prayers and songs. They're singing verses for them, glorifying Krishna Balaram. So anyway, I was just that whole song meditates on that. So this is all possible because of what we're about to read, the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It expands on it. By his meditation, he's seeing other varieties of it. And so much of the writings of the Goswamis are like the Dagda Madhava, It expands on the details of the conjugal relationship and all the things going on, Purnamasi, what she's doing and everything. It's a play, one of the plays. So that's one of the mercies, very important forms of mercy that Krishna gives to us. We're not threatened right now, at least, by any demons directly, right? Do you feel? Is there a demon threatening? No. Okay, that's good. So, so how do we cultivate Krishna consciousness? You see, by hearing authorized books like Srimad Bhagavatam, given to us by realized souls like Srila Prabhupada, that can give us genuine philosophy of who Krishna is, but also the descriptions of his activities, of him and his avatars, which is the sweetest thing. This is what we read the Chaitanya Charitamrita. You see how Lord Krishna, our Lord Chaitanya relished the company of Ramananda Roy and Srup Damodar and the others, and they were glorifying Krishna. And they were also reciting some of these poems from Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, So we're very fortunate. We have the greatest wealth, really. I like to point out that the human birth itself is so rare, 8,400,000 species, but how many examples, just on this earth planet, 8 billion. That's not very many compared to the number of fish in the ocean, or even 1 mile of this ocean. So we're the great minority, and even among human beings, to be interested and attracted to practice Krishna consciousness is a great fortune, good fortune. We've been made fortunate by the efforts of Srila Prabhupada and his representatives, But now we have to be dhira enough, sober-minded enough to use the advantage. And what do we have? We have time, we have our own vital energy, and we have the greatest treasure of the association of other devotees. That's so important to keep us alive in the devotional service. So that's, and Krishna, let's face it, Krishna has provided for all of that. I mean, he's behind everyone inspiring, Srila Prabhupada to come to America, everyone to preach whatever they say. So he's doing it in order, giving us a chance to really become purified. That's what it is. Because all of this is within. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kamunoi Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Kadaye Udoy. Who can give me a nice translation besides Ramapati? Maharaj, what does that mean?
Love for Krishna is an internal characteristic of the soul, and it's awakened by the process of hearing and chanting. Can't be, it's not caused by anything outside itself.
Yes. Bhakti is caused by bhakti. Yeah. Right. So we've caught the bhakti bug, It's kind of like a nice infection. And we should really try to get very infected by it. But that's such a important understanding that we already have it. It's not something in sadhya kabul, in this sense. It doesn't have to be brought from outside. It's not something artificial. It's not an artificial imposition on the mind. It's innate. The eternal perfection of love for Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema. Sadhya kabul. It's not something from outside. Shravanadi. So hearing, etc., chanting, serving 9 pradhas, but this is emphasizing hearing, chanting, remembering. By purification, it becomes manifest. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte means the purification of the consciousness by these means, hearing and chanting, chiefly of the Hare Krishna mantra. Kodayedo, it manifests, it's awakening. Yes, it manifests in the heart, And then you become an agent for giving it to others. Or not then, but then you become a real powerful agent because people can see, oh, this person has something I want. That was Prabhupada. He gave so many gifts, but when he was with us, the greatest gift was his own sangha. To see him, because you can hear these things. Someone can, like we're reading the purports and all the things, but here's someone who's personifying. You could see that he was, in spite of all the difficulties, the age, the health difficulties, he was remaining enlivened. He was remaining, determined to complete his mission. That whole incident when he had a stroke, was it a heart attack? Sometimes they say heart attack. Actually, this day, It was Memorial Day, 1967, in Brooklyn, the 22nd Avenue Temple. And devotees were, just shocked by what do we do, and so they started chanting. There were only two or three centers. I think there were 2 centers at that point, and the one in San Francisco and the one in New York. So all the devotees were chanting throughout the night, praying for Prabhupada and just praying to Krishna. And Prabhupada went to the hospital, and they wanted to keep him there, but he escaped. I mean, there's a whole adventure how he was rolled out. He didn't want to stay in the hospital anymore. And eventually he tried to recuperate in America for a while. They found him a place in New Jersey, but it was too cold. And then they found him a place in San Francisco, which was warm enough, but it was in the country. It was up in the mountain road. He couldn't really go on the roads because the driving was too much for him. So he missed the first Rath Yatra. But he heard about it, and they brought the deities up there to stay with him. So, but then he went back to India. And they thought, oh, he's just going back to the party. He's going to Vrindavan. And he did go to Vrindavan. But he found, good Ayurvedic doctor there, and he was getting letters every day from the devotees. Please, please come back. We need you so much. Please, like that. So he came back in December. He left a few months earlier. He was gone, and you can imagine the ecstatic kirtans in the airport. When he was there. There's just some footage of that. So, Prabhupada was the essential representative. He was as he would say, the transparent via medium, but basically just medium through which Krishna was acting and showing his mercy and enlivening everyone and planting the seeds throughout the whole world for the Krishna, the branch of Chaitanya tree known as ISKCON would flourish and grow. So we're part of that. So Krishna is showing mercy even to the demons. So it's almost inconceivable that every living entity is a descendant of Krishna. What is it? Sarva yonisha kontiya murti eksambhavan tasam brahma mahanyor aham bija pradakpita. Sarva yonisha means every being, everyone born of in this world is my son, my child, offspring. So naturally, and we're in the minority. The minority of souls never come down here. They're already in there. But Krishna feels that love for us, and he wants to save us as many as possible. And so he has his agents do it, and he enacts his pastimes, such as killing demons and dancing with the devotees and all these other things. So we have a great treasure. And we have a great opportunity, but we have to be serious. This word dhira comes up again and again. But we call it sober-minded, The first translation, the editing was misedited, that verse, Dehi nosmin yata dehi komadam yobanam jaratata dehanam prabhtir. See, that dhira is there, right? So first was, as in this body one passes from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly, one gets another body after death, or at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. No. I don't know about anyone else, but I think when I read that, I thought, well, he's talking about the soul who's leaving the body and getting. No. The whole thing is for Arjun. The sober-minded observer, like Arjun, should not be bewildered by such a change. In other words, nobody's dying. They're just changing bodies. But because if you're on the bodily platform and you're identifying with, as he was as the beloved grandson really of Bhishma Dev and, all these other relatives he had on it. So that was his frame of reference, and he was appalled by, his imminent role in the death of these people who he loved, basically. So he was on this bodily platform. So that sober-minded, that dhira quality, which is essential. It means one has to be thoughtful about your circumstance and who you are and what your real mission in life is, and keep that dhira platform in every circumstance. Don't get swept away by the vicissitudes. It means all the changes of the modes of nation, all these things, because these happen. Right? We had. I hate to bring this up, but there was I didn't realize it was in Claremont. This terrorist attack, where there was some shootings in the mosque Did you know that? Yeah, that Claremont is right here. It's right near here. So this is the world we live in, you know. I don't know if we want to talk, you know, what precautions we should, or further precautions, but that's the nature of this material world. The devotees get attacked sometimes, or all kinds of things happen. The war in Ukraine is going on year after year. So many devotees are affected by that. So what to do? Well, take shelter of Krishna, primarily in the form of the holy name. Just, you know, I mean, okay, if it happens, I'm Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You'll be remembering, you would chant Krishna's name at that time. That's success, right? So that's part of his protection. You know, he's protecting us by giving us this holy name, Lord Chaitanya, and his representatives. So, and then this last sentence here: whether the Lord kills or gives protection, he is kind to both the demons and the devotees. So Krishna is overseeing everything. He's the super soul. He's trying to guide everyone eventually back to Godhead. And we're in the fortunate position to have some knowledge and have the opportunity to really practice seriously. So we should take it to be very dhira and try to advance as far as possible as we can, and at the same time try to give as many others a chance to become devotees. And then we become really dear to Krishna. That's as he says in the Bhagavad Gita. So, any questions, comments? Otherwise, I think I'll do my little poem at the end thing. This is a dessert. Question, comment, Prabhu? Okay. We'll have another class tonight. You can think of other questions you have. So here's one that I probably should have used last night, but I forgot. Maybe I did use it. This is based on Rishabhadev's famous verse, 551. This is when Prabhupada was in India. This book came out. I think it was the 5th canto came out, and every city he went for like 12. You look at it, if you have the classes, they're all on this 551. This is Rishabhadev. He's addressing his 100 sons. He's about to leave and take sannyasa with it. You know, and he's going to. I think Bharat becomes the king, and then the 9 yogendras take sannyasa and like that. So. Nayam deho deha bhajang niloke, Kṛṣṇān kāmānādate vidbhujange, tapo divyam putrikāyena sattvam shuddhye yasma brahma saukyam tvanantam. So I'll give a rough translation. I don't know the best translation by heart, but what he says is that anyone who has taken his birth, that's a human being, nirloke, in the human society, should not act in his life just like the hogs who eat stool, or like dogs who, you know. In other words, understand the great value of human life. So what should we do? Tapo divyam putrika. Oh, my dear sons, you need to perform austerity, but not any austerity, like, you know, divine austerity, transcendental austerity. Austerity for the sake of, as he describes next, purification. Putrika, yena, by which sattvam shuddhyed, your existence, sattvam, will become purified, shuddhyed. Why? What's the advantage of that? Shuddhyed yasmad, thus, by that purification, brahma saukyam tvanantam, you will be able to enter into the state of enjoying eternal happiness, ever expanding, brahma saukyam, in the Krishna consciousness, anantam, without end. As opposed to this flickering sense gratification, which just results in misery. Yahi sings bhajata bhoga dukkha yonaya evate. Krishna says right in the 5th chapter, text 22, that the wise do not take part in this pleasures that arise from the senses contacting the sense objects, in other words, sense gratification. Such pleasures are the source of all misery, and they're temporary. They come and they go. So therefore the wise do not delight in them. So what do they delight in? Previous verse. Bhaya sparsheshu asaktatmat vindityatmani yat sukham sab brahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute. Sukham akshayam means unbroken happiness. So the key phrase is there, brahma yoga yuktatma. In other words, linked up to the Supreme Brahman, Krishna, through the process of bhakti. And you come to the point of being able to enjoy it every moment. Not just, you know, remembering the last sense gratification you had, oh, we're going to do that again, okay, let me see if I can, and then you have it, and it's not what it's, you know, and karma comes. In other words, that's the degradation of the soul. So the Prabhupada spoke on this purport, again and again, and all those teachings there after them are quotable. It's worthwhile reading that, his teachings to his sons. Mahatsevam Vadamaha Muktes is famous and all these things. So anyway, I took that first verse and I kind of generalized it a little bit. I was going to, because I use these verses for mass audiences, and at first it was, don't waste this precious human life, dear friend, by working hard for hoggish happiness. Through abnegation, worldly life transcend and learn to taste divine love's endless bliss. So I edited it. That's what I do. And it said, oh, don't waste this precious human life, dear friend, by working hard for fleeting happiness. Through Bhakti Yoga, worldly life transcend and learn to taste divine love's endless bliss. So that's the takeaway from the class. It's worth meditating on all the time. So by practicing Bhakti Yoga seriously, we come to the platform of real peace and happiness that can get deeper and deeper as we go on. So that's my takeaway. And so one more little poem and then I'll let you go. So this is the one that I didn't get to chant as an invocation for the Sadhu Sangha. I was invited to go, but I decided not to go. So this is what I would have done if I had the chance. Radheti, you heard this before. Radheti nama nabasundadasi numugdham, Krishneti nama madhurabhadagara dugdham, savakshanam sadaviraga himena ramyam, kritvata daiva pipame vasane chudarte. This is by Raghunath Das Goswami. An excellent fresh nectar drink with endless subtle tastes. Such is the name of Radha, by whom all three worlds are graced. Condensed milk that is wonderfully delicious, thick and sweet. Such is the name of Krishna, in whom all attractions meet. Now mix these drinks, O thirsty tongue, and add the cooling, fragrant spice of love, a prize the wise will try to buy at any price. And then at every moment drink this beverage most fine, and make my heart supremely blissful, peaceful, and divine. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Should I write Srivastava and ask him if I can have 5 minutes in Rath Yatra this year for poems? What do you think, Balaram?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.